जय ओम विष्णुपाद परिहंसकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इसका फौंडराचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva and the text number 24 and 25. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 24 and 25. Tarhi eva sarasastasman Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara Pravaram vibudanuga Tapta hema nikayabham Siti kantam trilochanam Prasada sumukam vikshya pranemur jata kautuka Tarhi eva sarvastasman Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara Pravaram vibudanuga Tapta hema nikayabham Siti kantam trilochanam Prasada sumukam vikshya Pranemurjata kautukaha Tarihi eva samasastasman Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara Pravaram vibudanuga Tapta hema nikayabham Siti kantam trilochanam Prasada sumukam vikshya Pranemurjata kautuka. Prabhuji. Tarhi eva sarasastasmai Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara Pravaram vibudanuga Tapta hema nikayabham Siti kantam trilochanam Prasadam sumukam vikya Pranemurjata kautuka. Tarhi eva sarasastasman Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara pravaram vibhudanugay tapta hemanikayabam siti kantam trilochanam Pracetās sumukam viksha pranemurjata kautuka. Mataji, yeah. Tarhi eva sarasastasmain Nishkramantam sahanugam Upagiyamanam amara Pravaram vibhudanugay Tapta hemanikaya Siti kantam trilochanam Pracetās samukam viksha pranemurjata kautuka. Word to word meaning. Tarhi, in that very moment. Eva, certainly. Sarasaha, from the water. Tasmat, therefrom. Nishkramanantam, coming out. Saha anugam, accompanied by great souls. Upagiyamanam, glorified by the followers. Amara Pravaram, the chief of the demigods. Vibhudanuga, followed by his associates. Tapta Hema, molten gold. Nikaya Abham, bodily features. Siti Kantam, blue throat. Trilochanam, with 3 eyes. Prasada, merciful. Sumukham, beautiful face. Viksha, seeing. Pranamu, offered obeisances. Jata, aroused. Kautukaha, being amazed by the situation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat with me the translation. The Pracetās were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Pracetās saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances. In great amazement, and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport. The word Vibhudanuga indicates that Lord Shiva is always accompanied by denizens of the higher planets known as Gandharva and Kinnaras. They are very expert in musical science, and Lord Shiva is worshipped by them constantly. In pictures, Lord Shiva is generally painted white, but here we find the color of the skin is not exactly white, but like molten gold or a glowing yellowish color. Because Lord Shiva is always very, very merciful, his name is Ashutosha. Amongst all the demigods, Lord Shiva can be pacified even by a lowest class of men who need only offer him obeisance and leaves of the bale tree. Thus his name is Ashutosha, which means that he is pleased very quickly. Generally, those who are very fond of material prosperity approach Lord Shiva for such benedictions. The Lord being very merciful, quickly award all the blessings the devotees asks of him. The demons take advantage of his tendency, his leniency, and sometimes take benediction from Lord Shiva, which can be very dangerous to others. For instance, Vrikasura took a benediction from Lord Shiva by which he could kill everyone he touched on the head. Although Lord Shiva sometimes very liberally gives such benedictions to his devotees, the difficulty is that demons, being very cunning, sometimes want to experiment improperly with such benediction. For instance, after receiving his benediction, Vrikasura tried to touch the head of Lord Shiva. Devotees of the Lord Vishnu, however, have no desire for such benediction, and Lord Vishnu does not give his devotees benediction which would cause disturbance to the whole world. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the chapter, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Okay, so we started this chapter a few days back. So if you briefly recollect what all things we discussed from the previous verses. So Prithu Maharaj, we are discussing the lineage of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. He is a Sakchavesh avatar of the Supreme Lord, and he returned back to Godhead, Vaikuntha planet. And then his family, the subsequent descendants, started ruling the kingdom. His son was Antardhana. He was a Vijitashva as well. So we know how he got the name Antardhana. Indra gave this name to him. And then he has a son, Havirdhana. And the Havirdhana had a son, Prachina Bari or Barishat. And then Prachina Bari had 10 sons, they are Pracetās. So when the father asked him to get married and start Grihastha life to Pracetās, when Prachina Bari instructed, the Pracetās thought, okay, they would go to the forest, do meditation for some years, and then they will come back and they'll start their Grihastha life. So that was the plan, and then they went, and this was the conversation narrated by Maitreya Muni to Vidura, and Vidura was very inquisitive. And then during the narration, Maitreya Muni was telling that when they are traveling to the forest, they got the darshan of Lord Shiva, and they received the benediction from Lord Shiva. Through that benediction, they were able to get mercy of Lord Vishnu. So then Maitreya Muni was asking, how come Shiva met these Pracetās, and what kind of benediction Pracetās received from Lord Shiva? So they were very inquisitive. Vidura was very inquisitive, so he further asked a question. Then Maitreya Muni was narrating this story in detail. And so when the Pracetās were left the kingdom, and then they were traveling going in the forest, and then they saw the reservoir next to the ocean, and then reservoirs were very calm and peaceful. In the past few verses, the description was given. The environment were very conducive for the spiritual life, spiritual practice. So when they are passing through that lake, then suddenly Lord Shiva appeared. That's where in today's verse it was mentioned. The Pracetās were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very merciful upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians, and who are glorifying him. As soon as the Pracetās saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. This is what the description of the Lord Shiva qualities and how Pracetās were offering obeisances to Lord Shiva. So, when we see this purport, Prabhupada utilized to glorify Lord Shiva, the great devotee of the Lord, right? So, when we say in the both translation and purport has emphasized in the qualities of the Shiva. So, the Pracetās encountered Lord Shiva, and the personality, the qualities of the Lord Shiva is glorified here. He is not an ordinary man. He is a demigod, and what kind of qualities Shiva is possessing. This is what, and Prabhupada is glorifying in the purport. So in the same context, we try to glorify Lord Shiva and inline. So let's see some of the qualities as per the translation and purport it was described. So first thing, in the purport it was mentioned, Vibhudanuga, that indicates Lord Shiva is always accompanied by denizens of the higher planets. So he was Lord Shiva, is always accompanied by Gandharvas and Kinnaras. They are all great musicians, and they are glorifying Lord Shiva. As soon as when we see Lord Shiva accompanied by musicians, means we remember one more quality of Lord Shiva. Any guess? He's a great dancer. Yeah, so he's a very great dancer. So even we see many, in India we can see the pictures of Lord Shiva with the dancing photos. I think Nataraj from Chidambaram, it's very famous, right? So when we see that he is associated with the musicians, we can recollect his qualities related to dance. And in 4th canto, in Daksha and Mother Sati pastimes, in one of the purport, Prabhupada was explaining about Lord Shiva's dance. When Mother Sati committed suicide, right? When Daksha was humiliated her husband, and she went to the Daksha's sacrificial arena, and then she was not able to tolerate the insult done by her father Daksha, and she, on her own, she generated the fire and committed suicide. And then when this news came to Shiva through Narada, and the Lord Shiva was very angry, and he created Virabhadra. But one of the purports in the 4th canto, 5th chapter, I think the 10th verse 10, the Prabhupada was describing the dance he was doing in that anger. It was like a pralaya dance, means it is almost creating like a annihilation kind of thing. So he was holding trident in his hand, and he was dancing very angrily, and his hair was scattering all over. It's like the purport Prabhupada was mentioning, that his hair is scattered all over the planet universe. Means like it's looking like a clouds completely scattered all over the universe in different planets. And then that dance generated so much calamity it's going to like completely, it's like a flooded with the water, and it's as good as it's like they're going to have annihilation. That level of severity the dance has generated. This is called, Prabhupada mentioned it as a pralaya dance. So this is what the Shiva, this dance, because the role of the Shiva in this material world, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, right? Shiva's main purpose is to destroy. How he destroys? Through his dance, this pralaya dance, he creates the energies that will destroy this material world. And this is from Srimad Bhagavatam we discussed. And the other one is like Tandava, Rudra dance. And this one, generally he performs this dance when Mahapralaya, when this manifestation has to be withdrawn, the material world has to be withdrawn, then he performs this Mahapralaya, this Shiva Tandava, Rudra dance. And what is the purpose? It is to annihilate this complete Mahapralaya. And when he start dancing this, then what? The energies will be destructive, energies will be generated from this dance, and it will create all the fire water, everything, all the disturbance it will create, so that way he can reclaim the material world, right? So that is another. And there is one more dance is there, and Ananda Tandava in the blissful mode. This is where this was performed in a Chidambaram temple in Tamil Nadu. This is the place. It's very famous Shiva temple in Tamil Nadu. So Chidambaram, that is where the large Nataraja, I think, statue is there, I think. So this is, so like this, when we hear, when the Shiva is accompanied by musicians, he's a great dancer. Obviously, definitely the musicians will be accompanying and glorifying him. So this is one of the quality we can recollect from our scriptures. Next one is Shiva's body color. It was mentioned as molten gold. Who else is having molten gold? You remember from our scriptures? Yeah, Taptakanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. And who else? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, these are the prominent. Many people are having, but the prominent gods, the devotees are like the Radharani is molten gold, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in molten gold, and this is what. And so this is. But I was hearing a lecture from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and in the purport Prabhupada was mentioning this, like the Shiva's body, generally in photos it was painted like the white color or bluish color, but in this verse it is mentioning it is molten gold, means it's a yellowish, gold and yellowish color, right? That's what it is mentioning. So the Maharaj was mentioning why he is having the white color. Because he put ashes on his body, right? That makes him look white. So that's why in most of the pictures he'll depicted as white color. So that is one of the reasons it was Maharaj was giving in the class, right? So, and other thing regarding the molten golden color. In the Brahma Samhita there is a Brahma Samhita verse which there is Kshiram yata dadi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tata prutak asti hetu yas sama sundaram aspita tata samupaitik karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So in this verse the Brahma is comparing the Lord Shiva and Vishnu, right? If the Vishnu is the milk, the yogurt is like a Shiva. So there is it's a completely, the both are connected each other, right? So that's how and in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was providing the commentary on this purport, and in this he mentioned that Lord Shiva is also molten gold. He also mentioned his commentary. That the reason is Sadashiv, like in last class also I was mentioning the previous last week, there are three forms of Shiva, right? Mahashiva, Sadashiv in the Mahesh Dham, and Rudra is the expansion of Rudra in the material world, he lives in Kailash, and then Shambhu, who is the glance of personification of glance of Mahavishnu, right? So this Rudra we are talking is expansion of the Sadashiv in Mahesh Dham. So the Sadashiv in Mahesh Dham is in same molten gold color. He is not touched by these three modes of material nature. It is in the spiritual world, he is not impacted by three modes of material nature, and his color is molten gold. And the same Sadashiva expanded as a Rudra, and he lives in Kailasa. So his body is also molten gold, but because of his putting ash everywhere, it looks white. That's the Maharaj clarification he has provided. So this is one thing. And the next one, we heard when Sitikantam, the Neel and blue throat, Lord Shiva, we know all the pastimes of Lord Shiva, how he got this blue throat, right? So in the 8th canto, there are so much detailed description of Samudra Manthan, pastime, right? So when the Samudra Manthan was, the churning was happening through Mandarachal with the Vasuki, using the Vasuki, and Lord Vishnu again, he came as a Kurma avatar, and he was underneath the Mandarachal, he was staying there to balance the Mandarachal, and Vasuki was using Vasuki, both demigods and demons were churning the Vasuki through mountain Mandarachal, right? So then so many things generated. In that first thing generated was poison, right? So in that chapter, in the 8th canto, this chapter, it was detailed described. And there also, not only we can understand the past and the qualities of Lord Shiva. Which is mentioned. Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw that living entities very much disturbed by the poison which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. Thus he started, the narration was saying. So when Mandarachal was churning, suddenly poison came. It was disturbed, because of the poison, everybody got disturbed, all the conditioned living entities. So what Lord Shiva did, he was ready to take the poison. This is the quality of the devotee. Para dukkha dukhi, right? If someone is in trouble, they don't just sit and wait, right? Okay, let them suffer, let it happen, right? So they'll be coming forward to help other people. This is the greatest quality of the devotee, and we can see that in the same thing in Shiva's quality as well. And when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is very pleased, and when Lord is pleased, I am also pleased along with other living creatures. So Lord Shiva was saying, so before taking the poison, so first thing, when everybody is suffering, the devotee cannot sit idle. And second thing, what is the activity? When he is trying to do such activity, Lord Hari will be pleased. And when Hari is pleased, Lord Shiva is also pleased, and all other everything. So these are the qualities we can understand from Lord Shiva's discussion. And then he spoke to Parvati before drinking the poison, like after informing Bhavan. So this is what the conversation was happening. So the same thing, whatever the words translation are, he was communicating to Parvati. After informing Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva began to drink the poison, and the Bhavani, who knew perfectly well capabilities of Lord Shiva, gave him permission to do so. So the Mother Parvati, when Shiva explained that as a devotee, he is very compassionate, we should be compassionate, we should help others. When others are suffering, we should help. And then these words he communicated to Parvati, and Parvati also, he knew Shiva's ability, he can took the poison. So then she gave the permission as well. And then after informing Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva began to drink the poison, and the Bhavani knew perfectly well capabilities of Lord Shiva. And what he did, the poison was spreading all over, right? Then he put everything in a palm, he made everything small in a palm, and he drank the poison. And our Acharyas commenting on this, taking the, because it was there only in the throat. Why it was not good? Because in the heart, Lord Shiva is a Lord, Supreme Lord, in the Paramatma is residing. So that was our Acharyas, some of the Acharyas commenting that why he did not drink further, because Acharya is the Paramatma is there in the heart, so he doesn't want to throw below that. So that is one reason. And second thing, when Krishna is killing Putana, right? So when he's trying to suck the poison from his breast. Then before sucking the poison from her breast, but Acharya's commenting that the little Krishna closed his eyes. And our Acharya is giving comment that when he closed his eyes, he remembered Lord Shiva was taking the poison. And he was saying that, okay, you take the poison, I take the milk. That is what the Krishna was meditating when he closed his eyes. So this is how Acharyas gave the commentary connecting to this poem. Lord Shiva taking the poison and how Krishna reciprocating. And so finally he took the poison in a palm and he drank the poison. And one more thing it was mentioned, when the drops of poison fell on the ground, on the earth, and through those things all the poisonous insects coming out. So that was another reason it was mentioned. So, and this whole pastime narrating that, so people in general being bewildered by illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are always engaged in animosity toward other. So we are in the conditioned world. The Maya Devi is always trying to poke with a trident, right? So because of that, what we try to do? We always try to, will be in the conditioned nature, and we always try to look for ourselves. And we try to get the benefits to her by harming other people sometimes. People will think that. So we completely will go in the selfish nature, and we don't try to help others because of Maya's complaint. But the devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, they try to help others. Right? This is we can see the poisonous, drinking the poison. People, if can anyone do in our normal condition life? No, right? But Shiva, without any hesitation, he drank the poison. Right? So this is the condition. People are very much selfish and they try to create any harm to other people for their benefit. But Lord Shiva directly, without any hesitation, when his master asked, he drank the poison without any second thought. So this is the nature. When others are in risk, when others are in trouble, they don't hesitate to put their life at risk and help. Great personalities almost accept to voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. So these people, the people are ready, devotees are ready to voluntarily the suffering for others' benefit. We can see the Srila Prabhupada first time, right? Even though he had two heart attacks in the ship, and he doesn't have any person to help there in America, but still at the old age he traveled. So this is the same thing we can see in Shiva's pastime. He was ready to take the poison. He was ready to voluntarily accept the sufferings without any hesitation. That is a devotee's quality, and we can see same quality in a Lord Shiva. So these are the various qualities which we can understand from the pastime of Samudra Manthan, where Shiva took the poison. And one more in the purport Prabhupada was mentioning. So Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Ashu means quickly, so easily. So Lord Shiva is easily pass. It can be easily by offering simple things. He will be pleased, and he will be granting the material benediction. But some demons, what will do? They try to misuse that. Actually, what is the nature of the demon? Demon is all means they always trying to control over the material world, right? That is they want to rule the material world, and if anyone is opposing their ideology, they will try to kill him. They don't hesitate to kill. Right? That is their mentality, demons. So if we can see that in the when example pastime Vrikasura pastime was mentioned in Prabhupada, right? So this is where we can understand demons are always trying to get the control over the material world, and whoever is opposing, they will kill them. Right? So we can see in the Bhagavad Gita 13th and the Bhagavad Gita chapter, divine and demonic qualities. Only 3 verses were given as a divine, but the rest of the verses are demonic. We can understand what kind of qualities demonic will have. So we can see the Vikasura. Simply, there is no gratitude. They don't have any gratitude. The Lord Shiva gave the benediction, like this Vrikasura was asking. Since he wanted to maintain the control over the kingdom, what the benediction he asked? Whoever he wanted to kill, just if he put hand on his head, he should die. That was the benediction, the boon he was asking from the Shiva, and Lord Shiva granted this. Then what he did? Immediately he wanted to test this on Lord Shiva himself. Right? That is what this is the demonic nature of this is the demonic nature we can understand from the Vrikasura, all the demons, how they think. There is no gratitude, Lord Shiva. So this pastime happened, like the Vrikasura did some austerity tapasya, and Lord Shiva came. And then he asked, Vrikasura asked, what is he wanted to have this benediction that whenever he puts a hand on the other people's head, they should die. So, and Lord Shiva told Tadastu, he granted the boon. And then first thing he tried, okay, whether it is working or not, he wanted to test. So then he was trying to put it on Shiva. Then Shiva ran away. He was trying to escape from that Vrikasura. Finally, he went to Lord Vishnu's abode. And Lord Vishnu said, okay, I will take care. Then this is what happened. In this pastime, there are 2 variations. This narration, the next subsequent pastime, I was taking from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj lecture. So when he went to Vishnu, Lord Shiva approached Vishnu, and Vishnu said, okay, I will take care. Then Vishnu came as a small boy in front of. There are some other variations I heard from other devotees where Mohini Murti came and he helped. But this Maharaj pastime, in this version was there, so I am reciting the Maharaj pastime version of the story. So Lord Vishnu came and a small boy. And as soon as Vishnu, then this in the form small Narayan, in the form of small boy, asked Vrikasura what happened. Then Vrikasura narrated the story that, okay, I tried to test it on Shiva, but Shiva has escaped. Then this is another thing we can understand. Even Vrikasura can do same thing to the Narayana as well. Right? Okay, you came, now, okay, let Shiva ran away, you are there, let me try. He didn't do that. The reason His Acharya Maharaj was explaining that because of Yoga Maya. Because of Yoga Maya, he was not able to, he fixed his mind only on Shiva, capturing Shiva and try to put the hand on his head. He forgot that he could do same thing on Vishnu, but that is the effect of Yoga Maya. And then this Yoga Maya, the Vishnu told that why you have to test it on Lord Shiva? You can test it on your head. Again, because of the Yoga Maya effect, he forgot that if he puts in on, and then Vishnu told, no, Lord Shiva is not actually, he didn't give you that boon. He was just cheating you. He didn't give any such boon. Then you can test on yourself. It won't work. That way, Vishnu, in the form of small boy, narrated, told Lord Shiva, Vrikasura. Then, in the Yoga Maya effect, he forgot that, and then he believed Vishnu's words, and he put hand on his head. And then his head broke completely into 1,000 pieces, and finally the Vrikasura died. So this is the other pastime where another devotee in our story, same thing, but instead of small boy, a form of Vishnu, the Mohini Murti came and she danced with Vrikasura. Finally in the dance he put his head on. That is a different version. I heard from other story, the other devotee, but we go with the Maharaj or bona fide story. So this is where the pastime of Vrikasura, because this is how the devotee, some demonic people will misuse Shiva's potency. They'll try to please Shiva and they'll get benediction and then they will treat. And in Bruhad Bhagavatam, when Narada Muni met Lord Shiva, that and Lord Shiva, Narada Muni is glorifying Lord Shiva, that you are a great devotee. Then Lord Shiva was telling, no, I am not a great devotee. If the devotee, what devotee does, he always try to please the Lord. Right? That is but Lord Shiva is telling, I always create troubles for my master. I am not a great devotee. And in this regard, there was another story, how his troubles were, his benediction created difficulties. Right? So this is a story of Banasura. Not sure how many of you heard this story of Banasura. So Banasura kidnapped Aniruddha, grandson of Krishna. The reason behind how, not Banasura directly kidnapped, but there is a story behind it. The Banasura daughter name is Usha. And she, in the dream, she saw the Aniruddha. And she fell in love with Aniruddha. She was having so intense love towards Aniruddha, she wanted to die if he is not available, if he is not there. So that was her daughter of Banasura's in that condition. Then her friend was there, named Chitralekha. And she was having mystic powers, and she, with her mystic powers, she drew all the pictures. Because the Usha, the daughter of Banasura, saw this Aniruddha in the dream, not the live. So, but now she was trying to find who is that person, and we can get. So this Chitralekha drew all the pictures, and in that picture she found Aniruddha, the Usha, the daughter of Banasura, found Aniruddha picture. So then she identified that this is the person whom I saw in the dream. Then with her mystic powers, this Chitralekha, he captured again Aniruddha when he was sleeping from the Dwaraka. And the Aniruddha, then Chitralekha was meeting Aniruddha. She brought Aniruddha into the Banasura kingdom, and with Usha, the daughter. And they were both are in there. Then one of her servants of Usha, the daughter of Banasura, found that okay, she is there with some men, and she informed Banasura. And the Banasura came, and Banasura is told what he said. First he sent his army to arrest Aniruddha. But Aniruddha is a grandson of Krishna. He is a very powerful person. So he defeated all the army of Banasura. And finally Banasura, with mystic powers, he captured Aniruddha. And then in this case, then as soon as the news got to know to Krishna and Balram in Dwaraka, and then they both came to fight with Banasura. In this Banasura, there is a boon already given by Shiva, that whenever Banasura is in difficulty, he will protect Banasura. So now in this situation, because of Shiva's benediction, he was not able to, he was not killed. But what Lord Krishna did, because Banasura is having 1,000 hands. So with his Sudarshan Chakra, he cut all 996 hands, only left 4 hands. So finally, so that way, then he realized that Banasura got into the senses, and then he realized, and then he arranged marriage with Usha. So this is where again Lord Shiva's benediction, sometimes the devotees will misuse and then it will create difficulty in the material world. So these are some of the things. So in this case only Lord Shiva was mentioning that I always create troubles from my master. But Narada Muni is saying he is always a great devotee of the Lord. So in Prabhupada's commentary it was mentioning, right, in the subsequent chapters of Prabhupada was mentioning, just I briefly read about. Pracetās received benediction from Lord Shiva, and as a result they attained the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This is a real benediction. The gopis also worshipped Lord Shiva in Vrindavan, and their Lord is still staying there as a Gopeshwara. The gopis, however, prayed that Lord Shiva bless them by giving them Lord Krishna as their husband. There is no harm in worshipping the demigods, provided that one's aim is return home back to Godhead. So this is the mood we need to pray that all the demigods, that please take us, as long as our goal is to go back to Godhead, that we can pray. And even Raghunath Das Goswami also mentioning in his prayers, each day I worship Gopeshwar Mahadev, who was worshipped with deep devotion by the gopis. He quickly fulfilled their desire to attain the supreme precious jewel in the form of the embrace of the son of Nanda Maharaj. So even gopis always worshipped him, so we can also worship in the same mood Lord Shiva. So this is how we can see all the great qualities of Lord Shiva, how his compassionate nature, how he is merciful, but how the demons misuse his benedictions. It's not his fault, but the demon's nature is like that. And he's Ashutosh, he is quickly pleased. So these are some of the qualities, and his body is molten gold. So these are the various qualities of Lord Shiva we can meditate upon from this. Such personality is giving benediction to Pracetās. That's how we can connect. Such a great devotee is giving benedictions to Pracetās. So that through that benediction, they received the darshan of Lord Vishnu. So how we can connect all this personality, Shiva's personality. So I will conclude here. Any comments? Yeah, so it's all our nature of because the Pracetās were in a mode of goodness. When they are walking towards the forest, they saw the reservoir and they trying to get into the mode. Their nature is in the goodness. You could see that, and so that makes the difference. In whichever mode you are, you will see in that direction, right? So that way you will observe the thing. So same way we can see here. Yeah, is very cruel. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, I will conclude here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.